name is Azia Geeth, and today I will be talking about the IEP process. What is an IEP? An IEP is an abbreviation for Individualized Education Program. It is enforced by special ed law known as IDEA, Individuals with Disabilities Education Act. IDEA protects children with disabilities by granting them legal rights and privileges. IDEA states that all children must have access to free appropriate public education, FAPE. Meaning, if your child does qualify for a learning disability, school should provide the necessary educational resources to help the child succeed. The advantages of getting an IEP are that it shows the child's strengths and challenges and helps create a program to support the child. There are steps to the IEP process that takes place before a student can qualify for an IEP. The first step, pre-referral, is the initial stage, and teachers use several ways to determine if the problem is due to inadequate education or something else. The pre-referral stage is used to avoid unnecessary replacement. If a child learning continues to be a challenge, then they will be moved on to the next step of the IE process, the referral. Referrals usually come from teachers, but they also come from parents, nurses, and pediatricians. Teachers usually refer students whose academic performance could be behind their classmates, continue to misbehave and disrupt the classroom often, and other issues and concerns. After information has been collected, we move on to the next step, identification. This step determines whether the child has a disability. The information used to help identify the disability comes from evaluations, family members, school psychologists, and a teacher, medical history, social interactions at school and at home, behavior, performance at school, formal and informal tests, and other relevant factors are considered for evaluation. This will help determine whether the child has a disability or not. The next step is eligibility. During this step, the evaluation results are reviewed by the team. To plan and provide an appropriate education, the IEP committee decides what type of education and associated services are required. The development step, which is the next step, involves the creation of the actual IEP and an IEP meeting. The parents and the IEP team, teacher, administrators, and other specialists make decisions about appropriate educational services and placement for students who qualify for special ed. Parents attending an IEP meeting may have a child advocate with them. It's their right. It is at an IEP meeting that a child's unique learning style and long-term and short-term goals are discussed, as well as the resources needed to achieve them. A written IEP is prepared for the student with a disability, which includes short and long-term goals, how much the student will be excluded from general education classes and the curriculum, services provided, plans for initiating and evaluating the services. Part of the IEP requires that the child be placed in the least restrictive environment, or LRE. The next step in the implementation of the IEP is the implementation, After the IEP has been written and approved, the school must provide services for the student according to the IEP. The school must follow the written plans in the IEP as well as ensure the student receive the appropriate accommodation of any standardized test. Related services must also be provided. And the final step to the IEP is to evaluate and review. Parents will meet yearly for an annual review with the IEP team, but a parent can always request a review anytime before that. The review will be on the student's progress toward their goal to see if the plan is in place is currently working. And if it's not, revisions are made in the IEP. Reevaluation for special education occurs every 3 years. This will help evaluate whether the child needs special education programs. Sometimes students are moved back to the general education classroom after the evaluation. Thank you for listening to the explanation of the IEP process. I hope it cleared any questions and you may have. And if you have any further questions, please feel free to comment below. Thank you.